actually going to be doing something completely different than what I've done before. I've, in the past, done reviews on Fear the Walking Dead and kind of told you about things that are kind of going on with me, stage fright, etc. I'm doing videos. Today I'm going to be doing, as I said, something completely different. I'm going to be doing the top 10 video game remakes I would like to see with current day video game graphics. Some of these on here are, well, all these on here I played in the past, and I would just love to see remakes on them. Now, bear in mind that I understand that this list doesn't include video games that you all would like to see on it. It's a personal list, so it'll vary greatly from everyone else's. This list does not include current certain video games like World of Warcraft or Star Wars: The Old Republic, because they constantly update their graphics. I will not be including pictures in this because I'm recording this via the YouTube's website and their video content. So I'm going to go just 10 right down the list. The first one I would like to see remade is Star Wars: Knights of the Old Republic, and I'm talking about the original where you find out that you are Revan. The graphics in it were okay at the time, but if you make it into with the graphics today and kind of put a first-person view on it, I think that would look way better, and I think that would draw more people into playing it. Yes, the original is very nice, don't get me wrong, but I would like to see it remade and see how it can be done. Number 9 is Final Fantasy VII. Once again, awesome game when it was made, love the graphics, love the storyline, but I would like to see it once again kind of the same way, kind of in a first person and dealing with the current day graphics, and they can make it so much better. Once again, awesome game by itself. Number 8, Secret of Mana. Not many people know about this game. It was a game that was designed, I believe, by Square Enix or anything or something like that, but it was kind of designed kind of in a Final Fantasy way. And you started off by getting a sword and kind of going through this quest line. But as you continued on, the more players you get, those other people that were playing the game, those other characters, other people could play. So you could have 4 different people playing, 3 different people playing the 3 different characters that you walk around with, or other characters that you pick up later on. The next one is, number 7 is Fatal Frame. Once again, kind of a lesser known game. This is more of the horror genre, but your weapon is essentially a camera. And it was an older style camera, and it was one of a kind, made by, well, not necessarily one of a kind, but one of the only ones made by a certain person that made cameras. And the difference about this is that you're a girl looking for her brother, I believe, in the first one, and you have this camera and you see spirits, and well, the only way to kill these spirits is to take a picture of them, and you had to take it at a right period of time so that way you can do the most damage. You'd have to find film. There was various types of films. It was very interesting. The current day graphics with what you can do with it, wow, you can actually upgrade that game so well that it would freak anyone out. And just the way it was done itself actually was kind of freaky at the time. So I would like to see that remade. Number 6, Resident Evil. I know this one had a remake. I know it had better graphics, but you use today's graphics and you put it in a first person, that game would sell really well. I believe it, and I think it would actually do, once again, I think it would do extremely well. Number 5, this game was revolutionary when it came out, Myst. Now, it had its own entire in-world aspect. You had to solve puzzles to go to other worlds or just to unlock other things. It was kind of a puzzle game, but it's also an exploratory game. You really didn't see anyone a whole lot. But at the time, like I said, revolutionary in just the way it was. Add today's graphics, just makes that game that was already good that much better. Number 4, 007 GoldenEye. Now, at the time, it had okay graphics and everything, and it kind of, in its own way, revolutionized the first-person shooter. And yeah, so I mean, they've done other 007 games, but GoldenEye really was the one that kind of hit on the mark and just was perfect in the way that it was. Bringing that back and just including the modern day graphics, once again, would make the game that was already really good so much better. Number 3, Now I understand this type of genre, this genre, they've done so many different games on it, but this one specific game I would like to see in first person with modern graphics, which is Super Metroid. It was for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System, and it was great. I mean, you had save points, you had so much, you had bosses that were hard, you had walls that you had to jump. First person, doing it in that world, I would not leave that game for at least a good 10 hours. Not that I've done that before. Messing with you. Yeah, I have done that before. Various raids. But anyways. Number 2. Star Wars Galaxies. I'm not talking about the bastardization that later happened. I'm talking about the original one where you had skill trees. You can master, one skill tree and another one. You had more elite, I guess you could say. Professions you could go into. You'd start off by going up the medic tree, and from there you become a medical researcher, or you become a doctor. You could start off by in the scout tree, and then I forget exactly what the one above that was, but it was harder than hell. You can go into marksman. From there you could go to bounty hunting. The original one was just so great, and Sony kind of screwed that up. But if they brought that back, put in modern graphics, that game would definitely have a ton of subscribers to it. And finally, last but not least, in America when it first came out, it was the number one is it used to be called Final Fantasy III in America. In Japan it was Final Fantasy VI. Now, the reason why I'm saying this is because in the first part of the game, the bad guy, the enemy, won. He gained control, took over the world, changed it into his favor, and later on randomly just eliminates towns and everything. But the graphics in it were actually pretty decent at the time. Now take that same storyline, add current day graphics, maybe even put in first person if you really wanted to, or have what you've had for Final Fantasy X or Final Fantasy X2. It would be even better. So, like I said, this entire list is games that I played that I like. I understand not everyone is going to have the same viewpoint as mine. I understand some of these were RPGs. It's the type of genre I like. I could have added more, but I tried to stick away from that so that way I can try to add others in. If you have, if you want to, go ahead and leave comments on what your top 10 would be. Please like this video, click the thumbs up button, subscribe, and I'll probably be doing other videos like this. I just have to find what I want to do. If you want to leave suggestions for that, please do. I'll look at them and I'll consider them, and maybe I'll actually do them. Alright, well, thank you for watching. You have a good day.